came from. But I so appreciate being able to have me on the call, and I think it's just fantastic being able to get together all of y'all as leaders from Canada, from Australia, and certainly spending your time on a weekend to get together, talk about Plexus, talk about the business. And as Krista said, March was a spectacular month. So happy with the business growth and what we've seen. And I'll chat a little bit about that. You know, one of the things we love to say about Plexus is when we introduce a meeting is to say that, you know, we're excited about being here. And certainly I'm very, very excited about that. But I think it's always good to sometimes ask, well, why? Why excited to be here? Why excited to be part of Plexus? Why excited to be part of the growing business in Canada and Australia at this time? And I thought that maybe the way I would talk about my own excitement is actually to share a little bit about myself, a little bit about my journey. And with that, I think you'll see some interesting parallels to where we are. So hopefully you'll indulge me in that. And hopefully there's some great things to be able to share for both of us. As Krista said, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Plexus, and as part of that, I also oversee our international business. And part of the reason I love doing that is part of it is personal. I actually lived in Canada for about 7 years, and in fact, my master's degree, for those of you in Canada, is actually from Simon Fraser University in Vancouver. And one of the decisions I made is I had a great opportunity for myself to be able to take some time off, to be able to pursue school full time, and decided at that time I actually wanted to do my degree outside of the U.S. To get a different perspective, to get just a different view of the world and how things work and so forth. And so got this great opportunity to go to school in Vancouver. And at that time, it was great. And yes, I got to hear all of the American jokes. And for those of you in Australia, I know you tell them too, particularly in the current environment. So don't lie to me. I know you all do. And I got to hear them all. But in the wonderful spirit of fun and really understanding, you know, part of the uniqueness, part of the difference, part of the challenges, part of the viewpoint of business worldwide. So for me, it was a great experience in that. You know, part of it is also professional too. That in one of the businesses that I was involved in prior to Plexus. We had a very large business, and the very first leadership opportunity that I got was actually pulling together some of our business units that were kind of smaller than our main business, if you will, that were in a growing phase and a mentoring phase and so forth. And so I got a great chance to be able to put those together and just got that great experience with businesses that are growing, businesses that are in kind of that fundamental phrase, almost like what Krista said, of being a new territory, and what that means and what some of the challenges are with that. And so got the wonderful privilege of being able to do that as well. You know, and then it comes to Plexus. You know, one of the things that a number of us got to do at the last leadership retreat was actually to talk to Sheila Medina, who was our first diamond. Sheila talked about the time that Plexus was just first starting, that Sheila had been part of another large network marketing company, had decided to come on board with Plexus at a time where there was nothing in the U.S. I mean, it was almost less than nothing. I mean, it was, as Sheila said, almost surprising when she got her first check. It was like, cool, this is actually working. And then just saw the explosive growth. But this idea that Sheila shared with us about being new territories and seeing that growth and the excitement of it. And Sheila said a little bit tongue in cheek, but not totally, that there's, you know, sometimes a longing for those days, right? Where sometimes the teams are so tight and so focused on growth. And it doesn't mean that you can't do that when the organizations are larger. But there's just an excitement and energy and such, and I think that's part of what we have here. And so all of those together for me is part of the excitement of having you all meet as a group, having all be able to share your experiences and really come together. You know, and I think as part of that excitement, you know, Krista and Brenda also, I've got to do a lot of different things with them, a lot of different meetings with them. And one of the things I always like to do is to talk about things as they are. And, you know, so I thought it would be a little bit fun, but, you know, a little bit to also talk about, you know, there's folks in the business that are excited and motivated and such, but sometimes there are folks that have a little doubt. Right. And what I thought is I'd share, you know, here are the three things that I hear about from international that sometimes folks end up sharing about doubt. One of which is Plexus mostly cares about the US. You hear that from time to time, right? And I kind of equivalence that to, I know that most of you are moms and have kids, and it would be kind of like if you had 4 kids and the youngest would say, you spend mom more time with the other 3 kids. Well, of course you do. There's 3 of them, right? But it doesn't mean that there isn't a love and caring and nurturing for the youngest. So, you know, part of what I want to convey to you is that there's a lot of corporate attention, a lot of resources, dedication from myself, from folks like Caroline Williamson in Canada, who's 100% focused on Canada, folks that are focused and working, including myself in Australia, that I call it small but mighty. And we're going to talk a little bit, it ain't that small. So, you know, I think that for some might be shocked as far as, you know, that we have a substantive business both in Canada and Australia. The other thing I hear is that we just, you know, there's so many challenges, right? We just have challenges. And I'm here to tell you that in business, if it's not one thing, it's another. Its challenges are what help us grow. And are there unique challenges because we're in Australia, because we're in Canada? Of course. But I'd say there are unique challenges because somebody's in Louisiana and Texas and other places. That's true. So I think that part of it is, yes, there's uniqueness no matter where we are, but these are things that can really help us grow. And I'm here to tell you, I have seen so much growth. Now, no tongue in cheek, because it means we've had a lot of challenges too from time to time, but so much growth and togetherness in terms of the teams. And you know, you all have no further to look than the 2 ladies that are hosting this call to look at what leadership is all about. You know, that as things have occurred and just the idea of growing and mentoring and caring with Krista and Brenda, I'm here to tell you, and I would say unashamedly, and in front of anybody that are willing to listen, there are no 2 ladies who care more deeply about their teams and about Plexus than Krista and Brenda do. And I say that from personal experience. And so I just encourage you all to just learn as much as you can from them, to get their experiences, and as much to take their character and feeling, because they are just that kind of leadership. And so I also wanted to use this as an opportunity to thank both of them for what they're doing. Here's the third thing I hear is you know what, I'm just going to wait for just the right time to start growing my business. That is the most hooey I have ever heard anybody ever say. Because if we take that to an extreme, nobody would ever get anything done, right? Because there's never a perfect time. But I'm actually going to take that back. There is a perfect time. That perfect time is now. The perfect time is always now. It's a perfect time for growing the business. It's a perfect time for being in Plexus. It's a perfect time for being in Australia and Canada, where the businesses are growing and maturing. But also, you could also say that it's on the ground floor. So there's just tons and tons of opportunity and things that are coming that folks that think that there's going to be a better time than now are wrong. And I'll tell it to y'all's face over Zoom, in person, at lunch, whatever it takes. At the right time to grow the business and to focus on the business is absolutely now. And whatever challenges there might be, whatever perceived challenges there might be, there's going to be different ones. Every business has them. Hey, we have no further to go to our personal lives, right? To say that, are there going to be challenges? Are there going to be things? You know, almost anything that we do in life, it's we could always say there's going to be, I'm going to wait for just that right time. That right time's always now. It's no different in Plexus. So I really want to encourage you, and you know, part of that step that you all have taken is you're showing that the right time is now. You've taken that time on a weekend to be on a call, to talk about Plexus and to do that. So I know that's in everybody's hearts and spirit. But I did also want to convey, if there's that little bit of a doubt about the right time for Plexus, I guarantee you it's now. Now, I'm also one of those folks that says, okay, it's easy for Keith to say, prove it. Prove that now is the right time. And so I want to give you some proof and also to do some shout outs. You know, I talked about Krista and Brenda, Sapphire and a senior Ruby. That's taken some work, yes? It's taken some absolute hard work, some absolute time, but the fact of the matter is, and on this call, we have two outstanding leaders that have grown the business, have proven the ability to do it. And so we don't have to make up the fact of, can we do it? Could we do it? Might we be able to do it? It's been done, and we can do more. I know that Rachel's on this call from Australia. So here's a great thing about Rachel. In the top 20 ambassador enrollments, the folks that did the most ambassador enrollments, Rachel was number 2, not in Australia, number 2 worldwide, including the Americans, including the businesses, and all of their number 2 worldwide. So anybody that thinks it can't be done, couldn't be done, you know, we can look at our senior leaders, we can look at Rachel, and absolutely have a certainty without question that now's the right time and the business can be absolutely right. So I just encourage everybody to look at that and learn from that experience and to be encouraged and motivated by that occurring. The other proof I give to you is, you know, we have our national convention coming up, our international convention coming up at the end of May. We have over 250 folks from Canada and Australia that are going to be, that are right now are registered and planning on attending convention. That's more than the first Plexus convention in total. So just to give you a little perspective, and that first Plexus convention is not that long ago. So it gives you some of the sense of the growth and experience and dedication that we have. So again, I just thank you for allowing me to be on the call. You know, I'm super excited to be working with you all in the international business. Excited for you all to be coming together and sharing today. And just to reaffirm to you, now is the right time. Now is the perfect time to be part of Plexus internationally. And just looking forward to seeing amazing, amazing things that have already come, are happening now, and will be happening in the future. So again, my personal thanks for Krista and Brenda for allowing me to participate at the front end of your meeting. Krista, I'll just toss it back over to you. I'm going to actually say goodbye.
Okay.
And leave you all to your meeting. But again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
See you later.
Take care, all. Bye.
Bye-bye. Isn't he just the sweetest? Like, I just adore him. Anytime that I need any kind of advice, I need corporate help, and I can go to Keith with it. He always is just right on, just key with me. So I just love it. So Brenda asked me to share my story too, and I'm going to start I didn't introduce myself, I don't think. I think I just kind of jumped in. So I am Krista Howland, and from New Brunswick, Canada, so on the east coast of Canada, which is a tiny little province, and we're not a very wealthy province by any means. We're very, our economic times in New Brunswick are very tough right now, so, and have been for quite a few years. So when I first heard about Plexus, it was from a friend down in Kentucky, and she was posting on Facebook, and I ignored her for 5 months. Totally thought she was crazy. She was a pastor's wife, and I thought no pastor's wife should be doing network marketing. But she got to me. I say it was a dark, cold winter night in February when I probably needed Plexus the most. And so that night, about 10 o'clock at night, she posted something up, and I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm just going to jump in and just ask her about it. And 3-4 days later, I joined her company. So that is how I got started. I took the products and never intended to actually grow a business. That was not my intention at all, because I had a lot of skepticism about network marketing. And so I just told her, I said, don't give me all the other information. I don't need to know it. And at that time, we did not get the nice success kit that we have now. Had I gotten that, I might have been more curious about it. But it was a little tiny, like 5x7 little duotang type thing. It was just put together just the best they could for what the times were 3 years ago. And how far we've come since then. That's what I love about being new in a new territory. You get to see these changes happening. And that's one thing that when I did decide to go into do the business, because it was about 3 months later where my lifestyle was changing. I was facing divorce. And so I had to come up with something for myself financially. Going back to school was not an option because I hated school. And I was willing to do waitressing, but I would have had to do 3 waitressing jobs to live the way I was used to living. So it was just one of those things where I had this business in a box, and I thought, she's having fun. She looks like she's making money. There's got to be something to this, and surely I can do it. So I jumped in, literally, it was in May 2014, and I just jumped in and never looked back. And of course, if anybody was around 2014, we have come through gigantic hurdles, gigantic. And so what made it different for me was, first, I had belief. And I believed in myself enough that I could do it if I put the work into it. And it's the business is very simple. It's not always easy though. And I don't like to, I don't project that to my new people. I'll say this is a simple business. Like an 8-year-old could do this, but it's not easy that an 8-year-old could do it. So by simple, I mean, we have an amazing company, we have an amazing products, and our compensation plan is out of this world. So if you can learn how to just share those 3 things with people and instill that belief in other people, you've got it in the bag, but you have to do it. You have to learn how to do it. You have to hone your skills, and you have to develop the character to stick with it in those up and down times, because it's a roller coaster ride. You can be high yesterday and low today for some reason. Something could happen to trigger something that will just kind of bottom you out. And when you're coming into a new country, it can even be sometimes more discouraging because, as you all know, the past year has been very difficult with our new back office. So there was many times where I laid in bed thinking, okay, I'm telling my team they can do it, but do I really believe that? Because there were times where it was just such a panic mode by times, and you wanted it to be successful. But that never stopped me ever, and I can say this in all honesty, and ever from sharing what I had. I was going to keep on going no matter what. And so I was coachable. If I couldn't find it in my upline, I went looking for it from somebody else. So I always call them my virtual mentors, because they really don't know that they mentored me. But Sarah Marble, for example, she was my personal coach because she loves books. Lori Harrison was my product guru. And then Celeste Gwen was my business girl. Like I hung on to their YouTube videos like that's all I had. And that's what I built off of, was their personality. So there was a lot of copying of things because I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew is they knew what they were doing, or it appeared to look like knew what they were doing. So I copied it. I would learn verbiage. That was, the proper way to say things and how to build skills in myself. And so that coachability of being vulnerable, that when you need help, is so key, and not to do it on your own. Like Carolyn Williamson is on the call with us. She's from corporate also, but she's also a great friend. And we have learned how to separate friendship from her being a mentor to me, for example. And there's many times I might have to call her and say, Caroline, I'm struggling. Like, I need help with this. What is your take on this? And, sometimes it's not always something that I want to hear. Maybe it's something where I have to look in the mirror and I have to say, yeah, maybe I was a little bit this or that. Maybe I should, do it this or this way. So there's a lot of looking in the mirror in this business. And I think that the more we can kind of like strip ourselves down and allow ourselves to be built back up properly through the great personal growth and development books, you'll be so much further ahead. Like, don't try to do it on your own. Lock arms with people. Brenda and I, for example, 2 separate countries, 2 separate teams, but yet I'd be there in a minute for her if she needed something. Because those sideline partners is what I've learned is, and this was not always true in my personality before Plexus. I learned this by watching all the top leaders, because I would see these wonderful leaders and women, just like, it was almost like you didn't know who belonged to who on what team, because I get a different visualization of it because of the Jewel page that I'm on. There's a lot of sharing of information and, I did this. Why don't you try doing this? And, I've got this graphic. This worked for my team. And so I learned that just sharing, it's like throwing it all up into the air, and where it all falls and who it all lands on is so key. Because when you're starting out, if you try to be like just keep your secrets to yourself and how you're working it and all that stuff, that anti-prosperity mindset will kill you in the end. Because when you get to the top ranks and the levels, you see that all along everybody was sharing, so it's something to really just understand that you can never share enough of what you know, and to help somebody else who's struggling, whether they're on your team or not. So the coachability was key to me. But the other thing too is when I decided to go all in, I became a CEO. I was a CEO of my business. Not that I was a CEO of my ambassadors who came on board with me. I definitely was looking after them in that, but my business was me. What I encompassed in my body, I was a CEO of that. I directed it. I marketed it myself. And I took it very seriously. When I went out, I was the Plexus girl. Everybody knew that I was the Plexus girl. And that, again, I'm an introvert. Like, my true personality is an introvert. I can fake being an extrovert like nobody's business, because I've just learned to adapt that you need to do that. But yet I've also learned that I'm maybe not as much as an introvert as I thought I was. And so sometimes we think we can't do something, but if you stretch and you are willing to go through that fear zone, then it'll be amazing what you can become. So who I am today is not who I was 3 years ago. They asked me to do Super Saturday in January, and I was in Hawaii when I got the email, and I instantly sent an email back and said, no, I can't do it. And the one of the girls that was helping to organize, she said, why don't you ask some of the different, jewels that are there in Hawaii with you and just see what their take is on it, if it helped them with their business. And so I asked around. 100% everybody said, you have to do it. Like, how can you say no? And I was like, I'm terrified. And they were like, doesn't matter. You just have to do it. I emailed Nikki back and I was like, okay, I will do it. Then I get back home and I emailed her back and I said, no, I'm not doing it. And eventually she said, Krista, you have to make a decision, yes or no. And it was like an instant decision. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I went into it terrified. But, it was like when I stood in front of that room, I thought, how am I going to train, if it was 150 people, say, how am I going to train 150 people that are not my people? And it was kind of like one of those aha moments where I was like, they are. This is my team in front of me. And so when I presented, I just visualized that was my team. And I spoke with my heart, just like I would with my own team. And it was amazing. It was a great experience because I walked through that fear, and you're going to have to get uncomfortable. There's going to be so many times where you're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to mess up. You're going to muck through it. And you will go back and say, well, I'm not doing that again. Or I'll reword it this way again, or I'll learn how to do that skill differently. You're going to make mistakes. It's just, that's how we learn. But the end result is stay consistent, do your IPA, and don't get caught in management mode. Spend 80% of your time on your business. That means you recruiting and then helping your new people, just your brand new people, getting them started. And then the other, 2-3 hours in your week, you spend doing coaching or 3-way calls, things like that. But you have to spend the majority of your time on you and your business. Adding people in every single month. My goal is always 3 people a month, and I don't always hit it, but that's my goal, and I don't stop until I do. So that's how, that's really how I started, and I never stopped. That same mentality has been with me the whole time. So I ranked Emerald in 13 months, and then another year later ranked Sapphire, and just hoping that Diamond is in the year. But if it's not, that's okay. I will learn more as I go. So that's totally fine. I never disappoint myself when I don't hit on a goal. It's just, how can I do it better the next month? And never get into that spot where, it's just not going to work out. This is going to work out because Canada and Australia we're pioneering on something. And everybody on this panel, if you could look at this panel, you're pioneers in a company that in 10 years, for example, they'll say, Brenda, remember when we did that call and we had 30 people on the call, and now look, we have 150 on our call. They're just, they're coming in like flies. So that's going to happen, where people remember these moments of when it was the building phase. And I think that is the most exciting part of it, despite all the obstacles. And they were not fun to go through, but every obstacle grew a backbone in us. We can get anything that comes at us now. We're kind of like, that's okay. Remember when the credit cards were all failing and we didn't have any shipping coming in, and people were paying for product in double orders? And that's nothing. Don't worry about that. We'll just sail through everything now. So I think it's a great time. So I'm going to start going on and on and on, because I could talk about my favorite subject is Plexus and team building. So I'm now going to pass it over to Kathy Scarston, and she is actually from Dallas, Texas. You're going to have to unmute yourself there too. And she's a registered nurse living now in Perth. And I hear that she's expecting a new little one. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. That was great. I wanted to first say that Brenda and her team have been amazing. I'm sidelined with her. I'm actually under, Celeste Gwynn's team in Dallas. But they've adopted me and they've been amazing. And, she just knows that this is really one Plexus, and that, building her team is really super important, but just building Australia in general is really important. So they've been really wonderful to me. But I do want to tell you that I am on Celeste Gwen's. I'm like her level 4. And she just opened this huge office this week. I don't know if anyone noticed that, down in Dallas, her Destination Diamond offices. So that's something that's a little bit different than we have here. We're not allowed to do anything publicly. So yeah, she's got a big public office now for that she shares with all her diamonds. But there's a lot of challenges down here. I was really surprised. I just thought I would be able to move down here and just pick up and start having some meetings and things, and that's not how it works down here. But it's been great still. In Dallas, we had everybody had an opportunity meeting weekly. You could find anyone's to go to and just pop in with them, and it was great. You also had Etsy, or to get your swag products from, or different brochures and everything, because we could share those publicly and stuff too. And all that back office items. They're not available down here either, any of the learning materials or any of those things. And the biggest struggle was when, I think Brenda told me you can't publicly post that on Facebook. And I was like, well, I didn't say Candida or anything. And she's like, yeah, no, you can't say Plexus. And I was like, oh, wow, that's going to be a struggle. But, and I didn't really start working the business until I got down here. Honestly, I was just excited to be able to start doing one of my passions, which is being a nurse. After being on Plexus for a while, my health had improved enough that I was able to start working again, and I just jumped back into that. That was what I wanted to do. Then back when I got down here, I didn't have my nursing license right away. So I thought, well, I'm going to work on my Plexus business. So I signed up a couple of ambassadors down here, one being my partner, Rick. I had signed him up. That's kind of how I got down here to begin with. So I asked him, I said, oh, did you get your starter kit? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, you don't get a starter kit? And he's like, no. It's like, oh, well, I guess I have to do all this training then. Poor Brenda. I was like, oh gosh. They're busy. They're busy down here. They've got to do everything from scratch on their own. And I'm just impressed that they're building it all. But we're not able to have any access to any of those back office materials that, all the flyers and everything like that. So it made it really difficult, but I think it's fun because we've gotten a lot more creative in how we advertise. And I think that actually sparks some more interest. I think people get tired on message boards and things like that, hearing Plexus, Plexus, Plexus. We get more creative. And instead of saying Plexus, we have to come up with just other verbiage, and then say, are you feeling unwell? Are you tired all the time? You should message me. And people are more intrigued and want to know. And I think that's great. My business is built. I've gone silver most of the months that I've been down here, building, which I wasn't doing back in Dallas. I think we were a little too saturated down there. Everybody was already on Celeste's team, that you talk to. So, I think it does create more intrigue, and it is a little bit more challenging. But like you said, in a few years, once we've built enough down here and we can get all of our registrations and stuff done, we'll have all those things, and this will be just something that we laugh about.
That's right. That's awesome. What a great story. I did not realize you did not get your success kit.
Yeah, no, they don't get success kits either. I didn't know that either. I was like, wait, you got that little card that says welcome to Plexus? And they're like, no.
Wow.
No, we don't get that either.
So that's evidence that if you have a will, you will do it. Like
Exactly. And I mean, I'm just so impressed by her team and how she's been able to do all this, because she literally gets nothing to do anything with. We can't do anything publicly at all.
Yep. One of our Canadian Emeralds, Justine Penner, she does a lot of German training. Like, she's a lot of German friends in her family and her circle, and she does all the translation in German.
Wow.
And she's gone Emerald. Like, you can do this if you have the desire. You will find a way to get your hands on that comp plan.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy. That was great stuff. So is Rockstar right now on Brenda's team. Like, she is cruising. Like, I can't wait to hear how you do that, because I love getting 3. I'm excited to get my 3. And you have gotten, what was it this month? 20, or since January 26 on your first level? Something like that?
First level 27, yes. Yeah.
My goodness. Okay. Well, you take it away and you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and then how you do it.
Sure. Okay. I'm Rachel. I'm from Perth. I went silver in March. So I guess I actually came on board in January. I was made redundant last February, so February 2016, and Brenda is a family friend, and she reached out to me then and said, oh, you know, I've got an opportunity. Would you like to look at Plexus? And I turned my nose up. No, not doing network marketing, not interested in weight loss products. That's not me at all. Don't ask me to sell this to my friends. And I really sent her a really nice, polite note back saying that. And I'm glad it was polite, because she popped it up on social media the other day. My first rejection. So basically, I was made redundant. I was on a really good salary. I was a senior executive of a large corporate body. We obviously lost over half of our income into our home. We had 4 children at the time, all in private schools, mortgage, cars, all of the norm. So Perth was going through a really tough time. There were no jobs. Certainly, a mother of 4, whilst we like to think that the world's all equal, sometimes it's scary for people to think to employ a mother of 4 in an executive role, because all they think, oh, she's not going to be here much. So I grabbed the first job that was offered to me, and that was a quarter of my salary. So life got pretty tough. We just thought income was income. So we've just muddled our way through the year. Basically, 2016 was just a year of the bills piling up and us trying to pay them. And then come along October, we had a bit of a family crisis, I guess, and my nephew needed a permanent home, and he was 11. We've got 4 children ranging between 8 and 16, so we decided that we were the best family for him. So we had him come and live with us back in October. Now he came to us with a backpack. So we had to create, I guess, a preteen bedroom, get him into, you know, our children are a little bit spoilt, despite the fact that we're broke. They've got a TV, they've got an Xbox, they obviously go to private school. So we created a identical room for him that all the other boys have. We've got 4 boys and a girl. And we enrolled him into our private school, and he's lived with us ever since. What I didn't think about at the time was by the time I'd sorted all of that out, end of October, we were 8 weeks away from Christmas. Santa, and we have the elf on the shelf, they weren't prepared for a 5th child at all. So things got slightly tougher in that we had to be very creative. And what we actually decided to do was put our mortgage in hardship. And so we put our mortgage on hardship. We stopped paying all our bills for 8 weeks. We thought, let's just worry about it in Jan. We got through Christmas. We went on our family all goes camping, from my grandmother to all my aunties and uncles, my cousins, all the great-grandchildren. We all go camping every Christmas. So we thought, we're just going to go camping, and we're going to have Santa and we're just going to do what we have to do. So come the 28th of December, the debtors had started calling. They started calling on the 27th, straight after Boxing Day. And all those unknown calls coming through your mobile asking for money. And I said to my husband, something's got to give. We started looking at part-time jobs. Should we try to work part-time? And I'm not sure how it works in America, but in Australia, if you have a second job, you actually lose half in tax. So you actually lose half your salary, 50% you pay extra in tax. So if you're going to do a waitressing or dishes or something, it's just not, you're not walking away with anything. Plus we've got 5 children. One of us would have been away from the house all week as well as the weekend. So it didn't seem feasible. So I reached out to Brenda, I think about the 28th, 29th of December, and I said, okay, let's go. Tell me about Plexus. And I started taking it myself, and I had some health things going on, but that's sort of a different story. But I came on board pretty much 1st of Jan. And I came on board with the true perception my husband scoffed a little bit, it was going to be $200 a month. And I thought, that's okay. I might be able to get my hair done, pay our telephone bill, whatever it was. So for me, it was going to be $200 a month income maybe, or at least pay for my own products. At that time, I didn't even consider I was going to have a team, or there were going to be people relying on me or asking me questions or any of that. I thought I'd sell a couple of products and we'd all be on our way. It all just escalated so fast. I think it was 2 weeks before I got my first order. And that was from a friend, and she'd used it previously, and she said, oh, I really loved Plexus, and I stopped taking it, and I don't know why. And I was like, woohoo, got a sale. That was really good. So February was pretty quiet. And then sort of the last week of February, I had 2 girlfriends reach out to me and say, oh, I'm really interested in the Plexus business and also the health side. And we chatted about their health issues and decided that the triplex was good for them, and they decided that the best way going forward for them would be wholesale. So initially neither of them really had thought about the business properly, but within 3 days we talked about how they could get it off the ground and what they could do, and they were both on board. So going into March, I had 2 team members and I think about 20 preferred customers, and I was like, oh, this is cool. In February I made $650, which I think it was close to 1,000 by the time it came to Australian dollars. And I was like, wow, this is actually something. Like, this is much better than $200 or paying for my products. So it got to the end of the month, and we paid daycare. I was obviously earning a quarter of my salary, so I wasn't earning much, and we paid daycare out of that, petrol, the car usage. And my husband said, you know what? He said, we can probably do with a bit of creativity, live on your Plexus salary if you can guarantee that you can bring that in the next month. And I looked at the figures. I said, yeah, I can do that. So I quit my job. So we went from mortgage in hardship to no money to me deciding to quit my job and go all in Plexus. So I decided then and there that was it. While I was working that first 2 months, I did 9 p.m. to midnight every night on Plexus. My husband got a bit grumpy. He said, he wasn't getting attention. And he said, this can't go on. You can't do this every night. And I said, well, I'm working during the day. I've got the kids pretty much from 5 to 9 that need me with dinners and homework and all that. I said, so 9 to midnight is all I've got. I said, so give me 3 months. Let me do 9 to midnight for 3 months. And if it doesn't work, I'll back off. But obviously, yeah, we haven't looked back. I've quit my job. Now I can do it during the day. My 9 to midnights are back. And for me, I guess it's a little bit different than Kathy and maybe even Brenda and some of the Australian ladies that have been here before, because you were able to market a little bit before and things, whereas I've come on board not knowing any different, and my team have as well. So for us, we don't feel that we're struggling as such because we didn't have it any better previously. How we've come on board is how it is. So I guess that mindset isn't there of was so much easier before because we don't know any different. So for us, that's probably in a sense a little bit easier. But anyway, so 2 girls came on board. One of them in particular was a little bit like me, and she is just gone. She's incredible. And I would never have picked her to be, I guess, what they call a Plexus runner. She wasn't someone I'd reached out to. She came to me. If I'd looked at all my friends, I guess she's definitely very wholesome and beautiful and such a kind heart. But did I see her as someone that would grab Plexus and just be a Plexus, like the Plexus lady put herself out there? Absolutely not. And she is just skyrocketed. Like, she's right on my tail. She'll probably overtake me, which is awesome. And then it just sort of skyrocketed from there. I don't really know how completely. People keep asking me, how have you done this? And I don't have a really full-on answer. I've just been me. I have obviously shared it on my personal Facebook profile that I'm doing Plexus and sort of what it's done for me, and the business side. I probably, if anything, be more focused on the business side than the health side from an income perspective. And sort of over the month, yes. So in March, somehow I went from 2 ambassadors to a team of 46 and 27 of them were mine. Out of those 27, yes, there definitely are probably about 10 that have come on, not even 10, maybe 8 that have come on board that are just on board at the moment for wholesale prices, trying the product, then they'll look at the business, and that's fine. The others, though, they're all ready to go. They've all got their Facebook groups. They've put their public profile post up with their friends saying, I've jumped on board with Rachel. I'm going to do this. They've shared my, there is a video going around about a little bit more in depth about my personal story from the business side, and they've shared that with people. And it's just grown. I can't believe it myself. I'm pinching myself. And it's not stopping yet because we've signed up 3 last night, 1st of April. So we've got another 3 team members as of today. So that's really incredible. And the girls are constantly messaging me. As far as my team goes, I guess I'm a little bit lucky in that I have had a management career before and I already understand the concept of sharing, and if your team succeeds, you succeed. So I'm very pro that. I share everything from how I send a Facebook message to how I talk to people. I give challenges. So I'm kind of, from that support system, I'm really comfortable, I guess, with, if you need me, I'm here. What can I do to make this better for you? So I guess from a team perspective, that's pretty good. My biggest weakness would be talking in person, believe it or not. I love Facebook messaging. I love emails. I will tell you, and I could probably sell you anything via chat, but put me in person. I was in the nail salon 2 weeks ago. I was surrounded by women complaining about their weight, and I sat there in silence. I did not say a word. And after I left, I was so disappointed in myself. I was like, why didn't I just say something? But I went back to the nail salon yesterday. 3 people took my card. I went to a dress shop yesterday and to buy a dress, and they said, oh, what is the dress for? I said, actually, I'm going to Vegas. And they said, oh, how are you going to Vegas? 3 business cards later. So yesterday I handed out, I think, 6 business cards to people of just chatting about my day-to-day life, and they're like, what's Plexus? So I said, oh, here's my card, look, let's have a chat. So I'm slowly building my elevator speech, as they call it, and learning to not be scared to talk in public about it, because I feel personally a little bit afraid of, that's my fear. Yeah. So from that perspective, that's probably all I can give you. I'm just doing it from my heart, I guess. I really believe if you do something from the heart and you're genuinely telling the truth and you're on board, I think people feel that. I think people also feel if you're not on board, and if you've got a bit of doubt there, it's picked up in the way that you approach it. And my husband says I glow when I talk about Plexus. I truly believe in it. And for us, we are certainly not in any financial position at the moment. We are still struggling. I'm not going to say that we're suddenly wealthy on Plexus. We're not, but I can see a light. And hubby and I actually sat down 2 nights ago and went through the comp plan, because I hadn't really got my head around it, and made a bit of a plan with it. He's on board too. He's just gone silver. So we've actually suddenly, now it is a business. It's not just, selling health supplements. This is, we love it. We're passionate about it. And it's a light at the end of the tunnel for us. I mean, to be Diamond, to have that kind of salary between 2 and 5 years would be incredible for us. It would set our whole family up for life. So for us, that's, to be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel is just, it's a blessing. It's exciting. And Vegas, I mean, we would never have thought, we've never been anywhere longer than a 3-hour flight. So to think that we're going to America in May is incredible. We, when you win the Vegas trip, it actually gets refunded, and we have been very lucky to have a special friend who's actually paid for our flights in advance for us, so that we can then give them, because we don't have the flight money sitting around, so that we can pay it back when we get refunded and when we can do it. And very gratefully that MGM only wants 1 night's accommodation as a deposit, so we booked that last night. And I'm just trusting that God wants me at Vegas, so he'll make a way for us to get there. So I'm just trusting that the money will be there from my Plexus pay in May to pay for the rest of the accommodation and our spending money. I'm just putting complete faith in that and running with it. And I guess just one more example probably that I do have to share is just say yes. We had a sip and see on Thursday night at one of my other team members. It was the first sip and see for my team anyway in Perth. And she did a fabulous job. But from that night and the next morning, like at 7 a.m, I had a few people say, Rach, can we come to your house for a sip and see? Like this morning, I had 2 kids home not feeling well. My house was a mess. And my first instinct was to say, gosh, no, you can't come around in 2 hours. I'm in my PJs. But I actually thought, don't, jump on it while the iron's hot. I ran those 2 hours. I did my hair, I did my makeup. Brenda lent me a Plexus sign. I threw that up. I threw all the products I had in the house onto the table, and these ladies rocked up. 2 ambassadors, 3 sales. Like, just because I said yes and didn't worry about my kitchen floor and banned my children to their rooms. So I think that just saying yes and strike while the iron's hot, if people are asking you questions, if this is really what you want and this is your business and you do it now, you don't think, oh, I'll get back to them in a week, or I'll do it when my house is clean. Yeah, so if you want it, go get it.
Wow, that is so inspirational. I think you do have one advantage over everybody though, because it's your accent.
I can't hear that. I like yours.
That's awesome. What a story. Wow. That's truly incredible. And I hope God blesses you abundantly for all that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really. Well, now, Miss Brenda Croft, so great to have you on tonight. And I was going to wrap up with Brenda because we're doing an international one, and she's not really a guest. I guess we're co-hosting in a way, but Brenda's going to wrap it up, and I know with her dynamic personality that she'll give us a lot of great tidbits to leave on. But Brenda is actually in Perth, which is the western part of Australia. She's on the International Advisory Board for Australia and New Zealand. And for somebody like that, that's incredible, Brenda. Like, I really do honor you for that, because it's incredible to be building a business, but then to be on an advisory board is just so great, and must be so inspirational to see that what's happened from that perspective too. And so I do respect you greatly as my friend and my sideline, and you take it away and do whatever you like, and then you can close us out too.
Oh, thank you, Krista. Oh, that was just beautiful. Like, this was your initiative, so congratulations on bringing everyone together. I love getting together with the internationals. We share something that, the Americans don't. Like, you know, in hard times, we're forged together, particularly us Aussies. We know all about hard times and mateship and all of that, so it's great to be together. Krista, how long do I have, darling? I know we were on a time. Does it? No, I'll shut.
It shouldn't run out. I had it on for 2 hours, but you don't have to fill it all. You go ahead. I haven't actually been paying too much attention. We're at 12.
Oh, okay. Because we're nearly at the hour, so that's okay. So I'll try and, I just thought today I might share a little bit about my story, because probably, I know the Canadians wouldn't have heard it, but some of my team on this call wouldn't have heard it either. Because our team is actually exploding right across Australia. We have over 500 on the team now, which is just mind-blowing to me. I can't believe it. But I started with Plexus because of health, like us all, and I was really struggling with sugar cravings. So doctors want to put you on meds and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't really want to go down that line, because I had always tried to be healthy all my life. And hit your 50s and menopause and all of that, it's a real challenge. So I said to the doctor, I will just try and manage this myself. Give me a couple of months. And, of course, I went to the naturopath looking for an option, because I knew it was the sugar that was making me so ill. So, and I needed to stop that. I wasn't under any illusion that I wanted a magic pill or a magic potion to stop me eating sugar, you know, and then my health would reverse, which it wouldn't. But I just needed a tool to stop it. So I was at the naturopath for 3 weeks, and that was just a complete failure. It was too unrealistic. I quit. Cost me $1,000 to that point. And I was probably at my lowest point then, and I was on Facebook, of course. God bless Facebook this night, and I saw a work colleague at the bank posting about this pink drink. So I thought, oh, okay, well, that sounds really interesting. I'll reach out, which I did. And she said, oh, Brenda, it's this crazy pink drink that stops sugar cravings. I said, oh, hallelujah, that's exactly what I need. So I trusted her completely because I worked in the bank with her for a long time. So I had suffered with, I know we're not, headaches. I'm not allowed to say what it really was, but I had bad headaches since I was 12. And I thought, oh, perhaps this will give you a headache because a lot of natural supplements did. But no, first day, nothing. Second day, nothing. Third day, nothing. I thought, wow, is this really the magic thing I've been looking for? So I thought I'd time to test it out. So I went to the supermarket and stood in front of all my favourite lollies or candy, as you guys probably call it, and I didn't want them. So it was like what would I say, a lightning bolt. Like I just was so convicted in that aisle. I thought, right, I'm going to get this pink drink and I'm going to stay on it for 12 months because I knew I could deal with everything if I wasn't eating sugar. So went home, jumped on the computer. I thought, what is this Plexus stuff? And I knew it came from America, but that's all I knew. So I got on, and with my business banking background, I found, okay, well, how do I get this the cheapest possible way? So it looked like it was, I had to become an ambassador. Okay, so, yep, I read, I don't think too many do this, but I read the policies and procedures from back to front 3 or 4 times to make sure I wasn't locking myself into something I couldn't continue with. So I thought, no, nothing. And then I thought, right, I'm signed up as an ambassador. Don't know what the hell an ambassador is. Don't know what network marketing is, but the contract says I'm okay. So I signed up immediately. And back then in 2000, it was July 2013, and back then you could get a welcome pack with 4 bags of Slim. I didn't even know Plexus had any other products. I just wanted this crazy pink drink. So I ordered this welcome pack with 4 bags of Slim. I thought, great, I am set for the next 4 months. Beautiful. Me being who I am and have done this all my life, anything good I find, I blab about it. So those 4 packs, I think, were even sold to girlfriends before it even left the warehouse because so then I thought, oh, okay, well, gee, I better look at this business opportunity because I really don't understand it. And back then in 2013, we could on-sell Slim in Australia. But when I joined, like, I got, as you all know, you get added to all the ambassadors groups, right? So suddenly I was exposed to all this Plexus fullness, right? And in Australia, it was a firestorm going on, like complete firestorm. And I thought, what the? There were 600 ambassadors on my team, and the original accelerator had been banned 2 weeks before I joined. So it was like, I'm thinking, what? I didn't understand anything. And I just watched, right? And I saw a video. I went in there and I was having a look around. And I saw a video from this gorgeous lady called Sonia Dudley. And I thought, oh, she's magnificent. I thought, wow. So I went to her YouTube channel and I just followed. I slowly watched that whole team of 600 resign to the point in about 2 or 3 months, there was no one left. It was just me. So I thought, wow, because what happened was Plexus then enforced not for resale in our country. I think we grew so rapidly, they were trying to keep up with the growth and shipping to Australia, and then it just went bang. So NFR was enforced at Plexus, which is the best thing that ever happened because it actually put us on the road to opening up the country in the right manner. Okay, so what NFR meant was you had to become an ambassador to actually get the product. So, and back then you didn't get a 60-day money-back guarantee as an ambassador either. So I absolutely knew from my business background that this was going to be a slow process until Australia's regulations lifted. It was just hard to grow a business. So I made a pact with myself. Like, my belief was rock solid in the product. It was rock solid in the company. I just watched and I just decided that I would learn, and I followed all these magnificent diamonds, and every month when the emails would come out, I would follow all the latest diamonds, all the jewels, because I thought, no need to reinvent the wheel. They've done it, so I just need to learn from them. So that's what I did. So right through 2013 to 2014, I tried my hardest to, introduce people to the pink drink, and I got 10 wholesale ambassadors, which was mainly made up from my family and friends, okay? So then in May 2014, something significant happened. Plexus hired Keith Jackson. And I remember when an email came through and I thought, oh, okay. So now we're getting some action. Like, mind you, I had no contact with anyone. And I'm a bit like Krista. Those mentors were my cyber mentors. They didn't even know Brenda Croft existed, because I was on my own. I had nothing. So Keith came on board in May 2014. And then in December, there was a big call with Tal and Keith for all Australian New Zealand ambassadors. Wow, I couldn't wait for that call. So we get on the call and it was magnificent. And he was talking about Australia and how grateful he was for everybody that sticked with Plexus, blah, 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 blah. And made the announcement that as of February the 1st, 2015, our customers could order Plexus. It was like a hallelujah moment. I absolutely knew 100% that our business would take off once that was in place. So Dave and I had holidays at Christmas. I'd been working in the bank for 9 years. And I said to Dave, can we come home from holidays 2 days early over Christmas? I said, I need to plan. I need to work out my plan for 2015. And he said, right, okay. So came home, and before I went back to work, I spent a couple of days on planning and set my goals. And I said to him, can I resign from the bank if I earn enough to cover what I'm earning now? And he goes, yeah, of course. So I said, all right, great. So February the 1st, I took off. I signed 9 ambassadors. I got heaps of customers, and I was away. And by April, I was able to resign from the bank. And I set my target then to earn Leaders Retreat. I thought, I'd just love to earn Leaders Retreat. And I set a target that when I went gold, I was going to actually reach out to Sonia Dudley. I just thought, I've proved myself now. Maybe she might talk to me, and know she has a runner who wants to take this all the way to the top in Australia. So I did that. I reached out to beautiful Sonia, and that was just amazing. And now I would consider her one of my dearest friends. So, and we've been on so many adventures together. So I guess the message is just go after your dream, whatever it is, just go for it. Anyway, so the next thing was I wanted to earn Leaders Retreat. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could be a leader in Plexus. So I did. I earned Leaders Retreat. I was so happy. Not that I ever in my mind thought I would go, because, that was a 30-hour flight from Perth. We are one of the most isolated cities in the whole world. So I thought, and the cost, we would have been looking at over $2,000 for airfares. So I didn't even consider that in my mind at all. And then something else absolutely amazing happened. A week before the competition finished, Plexus announced that all Australian ambassadors who earned Leaders Retreat would get their airfares paid. What? I thought, Mom, I was screaming, like, I'm going to Washington. Oh my God. Anyway, we get to, and like all the naysayers started, oh my God, Brenda, are you seriously going to Washington all that way on your own? And I said, absolutely, I'm going. I cannot wait. And I'm still going to meet all my mentors. Oh. Anyway, so 30-hour flight was a very long flight, and I get to the desk at the beautiful 6-star Gaylord Resort, and I must have looked like death walking up to this counter after a 30-hour flight. Anyway, they're all going, oh, Mrs. Croft, oh, you know, I was like I was a VIP, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, that's weird. So anyway, I was just so jet-lagged, I couldn't even think straight because I don't sleep on planes, so it was a big trip. And I asked Plexus if they could bring me in a couple of days early just to get over the jet lag, because I wanted to be looking my best when I was going to meet everybody. And I get up to my room and they've put me in a suite, a 4-bedroom suite. I just kept screaming and videoing back home, and I'm going, oh, I'm pretty woman, oh my God. And what it did for my team back home, like I was a gold ambassador at the time, it was a masterstroke by Plexus, really, because it allowed them to dream, because an Australian was actually there and meeting, and it was great actually that I did go on my own. There was another girl from Melbourne that I hadn't met either. She was gold, that was Janelle Fowler, and she was there as well. And we hadn't even met each other until, you know, we got there. So that was interesting to meet Janelle too. So we had this amazing time, and because I was there a couple of days early, get this is what happened. I'm wandering around and checking out everything, and I'm standing around and I'm talking to the staff as they were setting up, and I said, oh, hi, I'm Brenda from Australia, you know, I'm so happy to be here. Next minute, Tal's standing behind me. So I had the pleasure of meeting Tal setting up. So I couldn't believe it. And I'm just thinking, all these people that you follow and think are just, but they're just normal people. And Krista and I met there at Leaders Retreat, Krista, and it was at the international event that we had for international ambassadors. We clicked from the minute we met, and then we went off dancing, of course, that night. That was the night of the street party. I mean, get this, guys. Plexus shut down a whole street in Washington, D.C., from one end to the other, and it was all for their leaders. Like, there was probably 3,000 of us. I mean, who does that? Like, all the restaurants were open. Everything was on tap for us leaders. I mean, they do things. I was just blown away. The police were at either end of the street, and we could just wander, and they had the big mosh pit in the middle. And they flew in this famous band. I didn't know who they were, but anyway, they were there, and it was good. So that was my baptism into Plexus. And what it did for the team back home, it built belief. And, oh my gosh, I can do that. So it was really, and I made it my mission to meet all my mentors and send photos back home, and it was incredible. I took the flag everywhere with me, so proudly, over that Aussie flag. So that was good. So I guess why I'm saying all this is, I think we sometimes get a bit overwhelmed with the challenges that we face, but that's all part of pioneering. You know, like, think of our ancestors that came to Australia back in the 1800s. They had the pioneering heart. They built the roads. They cleared the land. They, you know, that's what we're doing. We're paving the way for thousands to come after us. So, of course, there's going to be issues. Of course, there's going to be growing pains, and Plexus has those, absolutely. And we do face obstacles. I mean, we pay 35% more for our products than the US. We wait 2 weeks. You know, we can't advertise the products. We can't have opportunity meetings. But my goodness, we can still talk to people. And the products are so sound, and the business is so sound, and the social marketing network, like the actual industry is down. So I guess I probably rattled on a bit too long, but the things I'll leave you with are, if you're having a bad day, and believe me, I've had thousands and thousands of tears shed over this past almost 4 years. Not tears of I'm going to quit, but tears of disappointment, thinking, oh, what now? But you put one to bed and then something else raises its ugly head. So you just have to move through them. So, you know, just remember on those days your passion. Like, why? Why do you want to do this business? Why do you want to share Plexus? And when you get back to that basic inside of you, then you feel better and you say, well, yeah, okay, that's the core of it. Always know what your why is. And again, just expect the challenges. This is a normal part of business. I bet Mark Zuckerberg, you know, when he invited his 5 people to his dormitory way back when to talk about Facebook, and 3 didn't turn up, but 2 did, he didn't get all disillusioned, and then he poured on. And all big companies have those, you know, Apple and Microsoft, they all had issues, and Plexus is no different. So just expect that. It's just part of the deal. And the last thing is believe. My belief, honestly and truly, hand on my heart, has not faltered. From that first day I took that pink drink, I was convicted that this was something so incredible to change people's health that I've never not believed that this is the real deal. So if you're not quite there yet with the products, I encourage you to do that, because that's where your passion comes from. It's the little bit inside. Believe in Plexus. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Without question, you could search your whole life looking for this opportunity. And as I say to my team, for $34.95, under $50 Australian, you've got a turnkey cracker business. Like, unbelievable when you consider, if you went into business for yourself, the investment, the risk, doesn't even compare. So believe in the company, the products, that is so rock solid, and believe in the industry. Like, I know social marketing or network marketing gets a bad rap in Australia, and for whatever reason, you know, I haven't had that experience with it. All I can see is, from a business head, this is an amazing, amazing opportunity. So we as pioneers have to change that thinking of the negativity of network marketing in the past here. And look, Australians lap up online shopping. This is just online shopping. And instead of paying Michael Jordan or Oprah Winfrey $10 million to say, hey, Plexus is great, they pay you and I very, very, very generously to say, oh, this has changed my life. Not sure if it'll change your life, but you've got 60 days to try it. You know, it could change everything for you, and that's what it's doing. So, yeah, just those 3 things are really important, and let's just grow this. I mean, we've had an exceptional month, best month ever, and we are just scratching the surface. Every single person who has made time to be on this call this morning can be a diamond ambassador with Plexus worldwide if you want it. That's it. It's all up to you. You've got all this beautiful One Plexus family across the world ready to help you with anything. But it is your business. And if you put in those hard yards and be consistent, oh my goodness me. Who would have ever thought a girl from one of the most isolated cities in the entire world could find Plexus? And now, look, I am on the cusp of becoming maybe Emerald, in the next couple of months, if God sees fit. And we don't even have a Plexus Lexus on the road yet. So that's a big, 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 big deal. And now I have this incredible opportunity to be on the International Advisory Board. What? I mean, I have now an opportunity to, be part of the legacy for Australia for generations to come, and be the voice of all Australian ambassadors and New Zealand as well on that board. And what an awesome responsibility, and what an awesome, humbling experience for me to have that. And how I've achieved that is just being consistent and believing and just doing. Yep, someone's unmuted. So I encourage each and every one in Canada, in Australia, we are the Sheila Medinas and the Sonia Dudleys and the Helen McFaddens and all the other Sarah Marbles, all those early diamonds. We are those in our countries. So it's just all up to us now to make it happen. So sorry, Krista, I probably rattled on way too long.
No, you were awesome. That was wonderful. I'm ready to go do it again.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Brenda. I hadn't actually heard the very, very, very beginning part of it. So that's pretty incredible, really. Well, we won't keep everybody any longer. I think that we're all inspired to believe in what we're doing. And as Keith said, we are doing it, and now is the time to do it. I wouldn't let one day slip by without just digging in. And I like to use the term find your grit, find your grit. We're all strong women and men, and we have big dreams of what we want to do, and find your grit to find out how to do it. Because this is your business. We're all independents, but we all work together, and that's the magic of it. So I'm going to say goodnight tonight, and for everybody that took part, Kathy and Rachel and Brenda and Keith, just thank you so much for pouring into us and inspiring with your wonderful stories. It was so great. So we'll just say goodnight. Night. See you later.
Good day, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.